10,000 fearless on the move.
Let's go. Deep in the delta where the willows grow, in the soil stained by the blood of my ancestors. Punch bowl voices call out to my soul for justice. The wicked will reap what they've sown. Spirit of Aziz is back on the rise. Soldiers in the delta kept it alive. Time to stand up, take our place in the sun. Understand the time and what must be done.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. This is it. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip.
Gotta make a move and take control. Have something we can call our own. So shine your light, help the people see that now is the time for us to be free. And if you waiting on the pie in the sky, you better wake up fast. They told you a lie, cause big fields await the wide awake man. Elijah's got the master.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip. Injustice we've had enough. All of our divisions we're breaking up. Destiny has been calling us. The spirit of the Most High is guiding us.
See, the time is now. What you waiting on? Quit shooting your brothers. Put your gun down. Come on. They got a cage waiting for you if you keep that up. Early graves coming to you. From that, can't raise you up. Now, Sister Ida B and Fannie Lou, check them out and you'll know what to do. But if you really want your enemy to be alarmed, read the final call. Follow Farrakhan.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip. 10K fearless. 10K fearless on the move. 10K fearless on the move. In Mississippi, Mississippi. 10,000 fearless on the move.
Yes, assalamu alaikum, peace be unto you, and welcome to another edition of the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast. I am your host, Brother Abdul Shaheed Muhammad, and we begin in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. We bear witness to the oneness of Almighty God, the oneness of His prophets, and the oneness of the scriptures that were revealed through them to the whole of humanity. We certainly thank Him for Moses and the Old Testament. We thank Him for Jesus and the gospel, and we thank Him for Muhammad and the Holy Quran. As a student and helper of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I thank Almighty God Allah every day for fulfilling what was foretold in both Bible and Holy Quran concerning the coming of God. So I thank Him for His merciful intervention into our affairs in the personage of Master Fard Muhammad, and raising from among us the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, and leaving in our midst a beautiful example of what a servant of God looks like and a human being should behave like in the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. We greet you with the greeting words of peace, of Assalamu alaikum, and those words mean, may peace be unto you. Once again, it's always a pleasure and an honor to come before you, and it is always our prayer that we will say something that will benefit us in our spiritual growth and development, and share information that will serve as guidance and purposeful information that can aid us in the decision-making process in these days and times of trouble. Because Lord knows there's a lot of trouble out here today. Let me get myself situated here. I'm still, there we go. Still moving about, just getting towards the latter part of our day. Hope everything is going well for you. I hope the heat hasn't been too much for you. Please make sure you be careful out there, brothers and sisters. That heat is nothing to play with. Make sure you hydrate. Make sure you keep yourself plenty of liquids in you. And make sure you keep some fruits and vegetables in you. And watch out for that sun. Don't stay out in the heat for too long. And if you have to be out in the heat, wear the appropriate clothing. You may want to wear something to keep that sun off your head, because I'm telling you, man, this heat, if you've seen one of the recent issues of the Final Call, the heat, the record heat is, I mean, it's just, and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has been telling us to watch the weather. He has told us God is not pleased with this country, the United States, and she is under the chastisement of Almighty God as we speak. Now, you can dismiss it, or you can take a deeper look into it and arrive at the conclusion that, yes, God hasn't changed. America has not been the great nation that she boasts and she desires to return to. She's been great for some, but she's not been so great for others. So we are in that great and dreadful day of the Lord as we speak. So let me switch gears here real quick. I want to thank those of you who have tuned in already. I see you. I see you. I see you. Sister Marcia and Brother Ricky and Sister Shahida and Brother Keith and others are coming on. We thank you for joining us. We have some online that have joined us today. Today we got a really, really good program. I'm happy and excited about this soldier that's coming on. Yes, I called him a soldier. He's a brother too. I've had the chance to rub shoulders with him to some degree, to observe him, his movements, and seen some of the work that he does. His name, we call him Maine C of the CVL, Conservative Vice Lords, and YAGA, Youth Against Gang Activity. Yep, grassroots brother, a brother down in the trenches with his sleeves rolled up, stepping in the Mississippi mud, helping our people as he knows how to do so. Because, you know, a lot of us love to talk that talk. But when the rubber meets the road, many of us, you can't find, we don't have time to serve. So tonight, brothers and sisters, and going forward, I'm titling this series of interviews, Voices from the Delta. And I want to talk to brothers and sisters that are at the ground level, that are not necessarily the normal voices that you would hear from, the prominent ones, local, state, or even national. You know, the preacher that everybody calls to the platform to give their perspective on what's happening in our communities. No, I want to talk to those nameless and faceless brothers and sisters that are on the grind every day, doing their part in the liberation struggle and helping our people and meeting them where they are. So you never heard of a brother named Maine C. I know some of y'all are probably saying, is that his real name? Don't you worry about that. That's what he asked me to call him, and I'm going to respect that, because I hope that he would call me, and I'm sure he will, Brother Abdul Shahid Muhammad. And that's what I would want people to call me. So he wanted me to call him Maine C. By God, I'm going to call him Maine C. So let's get into it. Tonight, we got about 5 more minutes. We're going to have the farm report for you again. Looking forward to our brother William Muhammad coming on and giving us his report of what's going on our farm. But before we go forward, brothers and sisters, I always like to give axioms to lay the base of our discussion. And an axiom is simply a statement or proposition which is regarded as being established, accepted, or self-evidently true to serve as a premise or starting point for further reasoning and arguments or discussion. So we open with our first axiom from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, where he said to us, quote, "He who gives you the diameter of your knowledge prescribes for you the circumference of your activity." And we can see today that the circumference of our activity is expanding simply because the diameter of our knowledge is expanding, and the traditional information sources and educational avenues that we have sought in the past, brothers and sisters, in this information age and the accessibility to information through something as simple as your smartphone, people are availing themselves to broader perspectives, which is increasing the diameter of knowledge. The second one from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, he gave us the definition of a slave, where he said, quote, "A slave is one whose power and authority is ruled over by another and whose sphere of freedom is limited according to the wishes of his master," end quote. Third one I like to give from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I really, really love this one, where he said to us, and he gave us some guidance for those who struggle on behalf of our people. He said to us, quote, "When you see men fall, don't laugh, learn. Learn because you're on your way up. And the things that tempt people to fall, you and I are not free from that temptation, nor from the weakness that will cause us to stumble and fall. When you laugh at somebody else's fall, white or black, rich or poor, your enemy or your friend, you're laughing and opening a way for your own demise when you do that. Because to laugh and not learn, to make mockery and not to understand, is to make the same mistake yourself." Man, just a lot to think about. Every time I read that, it gets deeper and deeper into my psyche and my consciousness, and keeps me mindful of, though we want justice for our people and we want to hold people accountable for their actions, I'm reminded when the Holy Quran says, "Let not your hatred of a people incite you to be unjust." So we're going to give you one more, and we want to give you this one that Dr. King used in his message to our people, entitled "Crisis in America's Cities." 1967 it was. He quoted a man by the name of Victor Hugo. He said, if the soul, quote, "if the soul is left in darkness, sins will be committed. The guilty one is not he who commits the sin, but he who causes the darkness." I quote that because there are those brothers and sisters today that want to keep the masses in darkness, and in particular, Black America in darkness, by directing our attention, if you will, or making the kind of noise to divert our attention away from what's really going on, and feeding us a diet of filth and indecency through several conduits, one of which is the smartphone and social media. You can't scan the internet today or scan your Facebook feed or whatever platform you so choose without seeing filth and indecency every other page or so. They're feeding filth and indecency through the conduit or the vehicle of hip-hop culture and music. They call it that, but it's really not that, because the genesis of hip-hop culture was about the struggle to improve ourselves and improve our communities. Now the message in hip-hop that they portray is mainly to destroy ourselves and thereby destroy our communities. Want to send some shout outs as we get started. I expect our brother William, we got about 1.5 minutes. He'll be hitting us up to give us the farm report. So before we get there, we want to give homage. Well, not homage. That's not the right word. Let's see. I don't need a big word. We just want to recognize those who are our sponsors. So we'll be right back after these commercial messages.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience the Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. theurbanindulgence.com.
Taste the difference. Taste Supreme. Enjoy our 100% natural Supreme spring water with natural calcium and magnesium, but zero fluoride and zero chloride. Our bottles are BPA free. Order yours today. Call us at 800-573-8033. That's 800-573-8033. Or visit us online at www.supremespringwater.com. Live supreme. Be supreme. Drink supreme. Supreme Spring Water. 801 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30314.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
What's your source for truth in news reports?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your #1 free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
10,000 fearless on the move.
Yes, and we are back live here with the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast. Again, I am your host, Brother Abdul Shaheed Muhammad, and we have on hold our dear brother William Muhammad, who is here to give us our farm report. And I'm trying to run you through the board, brother, but we're not going to worry about that. We're going to get you right here. Brother William, you there?
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Salam, sir.
Praises be to Allah. Let's give him a round of applause as he comes forward to give us our farm report for this week. What you got for us tonight, my brother?
Yeah.
Are you there?
Sir, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. You're back. Sounds like you're glitching out, brother. Get into a good spot where we can hear you nice and loudly.
Okay, yes, sir. I'm traveling. I'm actually on my way home from work, but can you hear me pretty good now?
Yes, sir. I can hear you pretty good. Hopefully, brother, you won't hit any dead spots, that'll cause you to fade out. But go ahead.
Yes, sir. We just continuing from last week, trying to finish up.
Uh-oh, you didn't hit a dead spot, brother William.
Sir?
You just went dead.
Okay, what about now?
Okay, you're back. You're back. You may wonder where you are right now. You may want to pull over and stop so you won't run into another dead spot.
Okay. So, like I was saying earlier, we just trying to finish up, getting everything ready for our string beans. We kind of expecting everything to be good from that. We're trying to get the ground also ready to start our fall crops. And we're hoping that what we got coming up now for this summer, maybe the weather will let up a little bit. The sun has been really beaten down. We had early issues with some rain. Now we're dealing with the heat. So we're just hoping and praying instead of working. And inshallah, it'll work out for us.
Yes, sir. Praises be to Allah. So what we got in the ground, brother, that's going to potentially come forth that we can eat?
We get ready to we got string beans already out. We got some squash coming. They look pretty good last week when I was out there. We got some watermelons that's coming, some baby watermelons, so we can keep the crows out of there. That should be good. We got cantaloupe.
Yes, sir.
Crows is something else. We got cantaloupe. We getting ready to plant some cabbage, rutabaga, artichokes. It's a few more things that we're going to be planting. We still got okra. We got some more rows of okra coming, and we still got tomatoes as well.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. Well, brother, that sounds good, man. I'm hoping the people hearing that, and please keep us informed. And when some can be brought up north to where we are, please make sure that you can get them up to us here at 165 North Memphis Street. And let us know if you're going to have some overage so we can allow the community to know that those who want to come and grab some bags at a very, 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 in my humble view, reasonable price for the goods or for the produce that you've brought, brother. And I'm going to tell you, they're organically grown and they are very, very good. So, Brother William, man, once again, brother, thank you for being on deck with us and bringing us the farm report from down in the Delta. We're going to make sure we keep you in the loop, brother, and anything that you need to call and let me know about that you've probably left out. Send me a text or something so I can make the audience aware of it. All right?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Yes, sir. Next time, sir.
That was our brother William Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, I'm having a little bit of a problem here in the sense that I can't seem to get my phone to connect to my Roadcaster the way it should. And okay, there it is. Okay, here we go. All right, now we connected. So that's when my brother Maine C calls in. We want to make sure we got him good and connected to our Roadcaster, and we good to go. All right, Brother William is gone. Yeah, I'll bear with you, brother. Bear with you, brother. I'm making sure that our connections are robust and proper. So, brothers and sisters, tonight, you heard the farm report from our brother William, but tonight we're going to have Voices from the Delta. That's our series, Voices from the Delta series. We're going to begin with the brother that I know by the name of Maine C of the Conservative Vice Lords, and YAGA meaning Youth Against Gang Activity. Now, some of you may be saying, well, that's an oxymoron. How can he be a conservative vice lord talking about some youth against gang activity? Well, you need to know the history of the conservative vice lords in order to understand it. You have to understand back in 1997, the United States government brought over 300 intelligence agents out of Germany back into the America, and they were reassigned to work among the street gangs. You have to understand that it was Senator Kirk and Senator Durbin who in recent years wanted to lock up over 18,000 gang members in Chicago. Just because they were gang members. When you understand the history of the street organization and its genesis and how it started, and that it really started on the East Coast as well as the West Coast and up north in Chicago as a means by which young brothers and sisters could protect themselves. In Chicago in particular, the Woodlawn area was predominantly white. And you know how it was, if you understand, if you've done a little research, that black children were always accosted for moving into areas or living in predominantly white communities. So young people began to unite amongst themselves and protect one another. I'm reminded of a group that was called the Spook Hunters, where they would just go around and find black people and black children and jump on them. You know, they still kind of doing that in Mississippi today, but they don't just jump on them, they find them hanging. Then their brother, the coroner, rules it a suicide. Then the police do a lackluster, half-hearted investigation, and they rule it as a suicide on the scene. And the coroner backs it up. And then the whole apparatus, the machinery of injustice cranks up in these small rural towns like Taylorsville and Gulfport and other areas in Mississippi that names you haven't even heard. You would not believe the injustice and the travesties of injustice that are going on down in Mississippi, Alabama, Louisiana. You all remember the Jenna 6, if you read the final call, that is, because these stories don't make national news. But there are brothers and sisters that are down there in the trenches making it happen for our people, and they are on the front line on a daily basis. And these are the brothers and sisters that I want to talk to. And our brother Maine C, in about 5 more minutes, I told him to give us a shout, at around 7:30. And we got about 5 more minutes until our brother calls. But until then, I want to give us some more backdrop for tonight's interview and conversation with our special guest, Brother Maine C. It's going to be centered for the most part around the street organization's role in the liberation struggle. Because when having these conversations, as I just recently stated, we always seem to get to hear from the prominent leaders in the local community and state level, even on the national level. But as the saying goes, the streets talk. And the streets got something of value to say, in my estimation, if we would but listen. They will say it whether we're listening or not. They're going to say what they're going to say. They will not be silenced, and we'll create avenues whereby they can be heard. That's what they've done in the hip hop community. They've pretty much made the big production studio obsolete. These young brothers and sisters will create their own avenues whereby they get their music and their message out. Well, the same is happening in pockets, more pockets than you would think in the liberation struggle, and coming from sources that you would not think would be involved in such activity. Okay? So they won't be silenced. And me as a brother, I wanted to invite them to our platform to add their voices to the conversation of uplifting fallen humanity and making our communities a safe and decent place to live. Because whether you believe it or not, these young brothers and sisters are doing that work. I know they have something of value to say, and we would be wise to listen. So I'm going to encourage our brother when he comes to please feel free to speak frankly, speak openly and candidly as we discuss tonight's topic. And we got about 3 minutes left. So before our brother comes on, we're going to take another quick break. We're going to make sure that we get our supporters in, because they always support us, and we want to support them and make them known. And we are asking you to make sure that you patronize and support Supreme Spring Water, as well as the Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. We'll be right back.
Problems, big problems. They say pray your words, but that ain't solving, that ain't helping. Lord, I'm melting like I'm sick to the core, got me belching. This quarantine got us on the battle scene like a semi-automatic handgun magazine. You ever seen a king get betrayed by his team? Left for dead, come back and coup d'etat the whole scene like Kuna Matata, popping off like bottles. The celebration for you, cause the being of tomorrow. Another unsolved mystery, misery loves company. Let them dig their grave, and I'm dumping them. Bum when you see the thing shine. But this ain't 5-0, it's baby playing time. I'll be back, mama. We on code.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button, or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
What's your source for truth in news reports?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
No shoot. No shoot. No shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your #1 free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com. Taste the difference. Taste Supreme. Enjoy our 100% natural Supreme Spring Water with natural calcium and magnesium, but zero fluoride and zero chloride. Our bottles are BPA free. Order yours today. Call us at 800-573-8033. That's 800-573-8033. Or visit us online at www.supremespringwater.com. Live supreme. Be supreme. Drink supreme. Supreme Spring Water. 801 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30314.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience the Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. Theurbanindulgence.com.
Fearless on the move.
Ah, yeah. Yes, and we are back, and we have our brother on the line, our brother Maine C. We are so happy and excited to have you with us this evening, brother Maine C. Hold on a minute. Where did he go? Okay, there he is. There he is. Brother Maine C, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Man, how you feeling, man? How you feeling, man? Uh-oh. Where'd he go? Are you there, brother Maine C?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. There
I'm probably in a bad area. I'm out in upstate Washington. Ain't really a stigma out here.
Oh, okay. My brother, he's on the road. He's working. So he's not just sitting somewhere chilling. So, brother, we're going to try to get this in. God willing, you can get hopefully stationary where you can get a good signal and we can keep this thing moving. But, brother, first, let me go ahead and get with it. Tonight, we want to have a conversation, brother Maine C. We just want to chop it up. As I was telling the audience, you know, when it comes to the liberation struggle, we always get to hear from, I'll use the language, the mucky mucks, no pun intended. But the prominent voices that we always hear, you know, the local preacher or the local politician or the national or the state or the regional person that everyone knows. And it's not regular that we get to hear from the brother and sister that's at the street level, that's out on the grind every day, doing what they can to help our people with what's going on in our communities as it relates to injustice and just basic need. So, brother Maine C, start, man. If you will introduce yourself to our audience, man, and tell us a little bit about you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you.
My name's Maine C.
Uh-oh, you went out again, brother.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We got you now, but you moved and you went out.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's all right.
My apologies. I'm from Indianola, Mississippi, down in the Mississippi Delta.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Of YAGA, which is Youth Against.
Okay, brother Maine, see, you're going in and out. So if you got on headphones, you can take them off because you're not coming through the switchboard. That may help. Can you hear me? Okay. I know, brother, because he hit me earlier. He was on the road, and he's got to do like everybody else. He got to make a living. So we're still here, brother, if you can get back in, because we can't hear you right now. Uh-oh, we lost him. Well, he's in, brothers and sisters, just be patient now. Be patient with us. Our brother, I'm going to hit him back, see if we can get him back on the line. I know he's busy, or he's traveling, I should say. And he said he would get to a point to where he can have this conversation with us. But as we make our efforts to get back in touch.
The wireless customer you are calling is not available. Please try.
I'm calling him directly on his phone line. let's see if we can get him back in. We'll give him an opportunity to give us a call back and see if he will be able to connect with us. But brothers and sisters, we had a beautiful, in my estimation, we had a good line of questions to ask our brother. You there, man? See?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I'm in a bad area.
Okay, good, man. You sound better. Okay, Sister Monique is calling. Hold on, let me get her. Let me see. Sister Monique. Yes, ma'am.
Peace and love. How are you?
I am good, sister. I got Brother Maine C on the other line. He's having some call-in issues. Right. So I'm sure.
So he told me to add another one of our brothers.
Uh-huh.
So I'm about to do that now.
Okay, well, I have him on my phone line. If that brother can call in through the switchboard, because I can only handle one caller at a time the way that we're doing it now. And we decided to do it this way because he would be traveling. So if the instructions on how to come through the switchboard, bring that brother through the switchboard, and I'll gladly accept him in. All right?
All righty.
All right. Thank you, Queen.
You're welcome, love.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, Brother Maine, see, he dropped off for a minute there. Are you back? We're going to hit Brother Maine. We're going to make this work now. We're going to be patient, and we're going to make this work because I think God is going to bless us to do this. The devil is a liar. The devil is a... Brother Maine, see? There he is.
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Good. I got you. So that was Sister Monique. She's called, and she says she's going to get another brother on the line and bring him through the switchboard. But Brother Maine, see, man, like I was saying, man, introduce yourself or finish introducing yourself and telling us about you and what you do, man.
Like I was saying, I'm Maine C. I'm from the Mississippi Delta, Indianola, Mississippi. Member of the Conservative Vice Lord, also president of the nonprofit YAGA, Youth Against Gang Activity. And what we try to do is be activists in the community since we live there, we stay there. So it's imperative that the people see us outside doing something in a productive manner. So that's kind of what we kind of focus on.
Man,
leadership within with the youth is what we kind of started YAGA. In the 90s, we noticed a decline in the leadership in the community. A lot of the people that was in a position to be leaders, once they got themselves established, they was moving out of the community. So they was busting. So coming back to the community to be leadership. But the community need leadership 24/7. So that's kind of what the ideal of YAGA even came from.
Right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Man, beautiful, beautiful. Well, brother, as we go, man, I'm trying to figure. I know Sister Monique said she was going to bring another person in. I'm looking for them on the switchboard. They don't have a name by their name. I'm hoping this is the right person. Let me see if this is the person. I just sent that person an invite. They should be logged on. And if they're logged on, they will come into the switchboard. But Brother Maine C, man, I'm going to make this quick, man. I want to take up too much of your time, brother. I want to share something with you that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said way back in 1993, and I want to get your response to it. And it was during a Savior's Day message. I had just joined the Nation of Islam, and it's that message. He was in a white suit and a green bow tie, and I never forget him saying this. He said, soon the street organizations will become the army of righteousness for our people. Now, let me say it again. He said, soon the street organizations will become the army of righteousness for our people. That's pretty much what he said. And do you see that happening, brother? And if so, do you see any signs of it?
Yes, sir. I do believe that not only is there truth, but I think in modern day that's becoming a reality to some degree. With that, though, I think came a responsibility. A lot of these brothers from the street, the heart, if you will, of the warrior is obviously present, just due to the discord that we've had in the community. But with proper leadership and people taking that and channeling that and following it into something productive that stands for the people, I think we already had an army in place beginning with those type of people.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of what America like to refer to as gang members, but these are the brothers and sisters that are in the community.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it was always a matter of us figuring out as a people, first and foremost, where that leadership would come from, and secondly, what to do with that power, because it is a power in the community.
Yes, sir. Brother, I agree 1,000%. I've had the blessing of being able to, okay, you got a little background noise. Honestly, you working, brother. Keep doing what you're doing now. You got to earn a living. But I've had the pleasure, brother, to, as I said to the audience a little bit ago, to kind of rub shoulders with you, have brief conversations, brief interactions and whatnot. But I've observed you from afar, brother. Well, not from too afar, but when you are in Holly Springs and opportunities I've had to come down that way and see you and the brothers and sisters down that way, what I see is what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has told us is present at the street level with our brothers and sisters. So I want to ask this question next, brother. Why is it, from your vantage point at least, why is it that some think, you know, in the broader community of struggle, if you will, why do they think that, you know, and all of them don't think this, but why do some of them think that street organizations have nothing to contribute or even a role to play in the struggle for liberation and justice for black people? Why do you think they think that way, brother?
Okay, I think the first thing I want to ask you a question.
Sure.
Let's define the they. Who is the they that thinks that?
Well, a lot of that comes from members of the clergy, from the affluent, the quote unquote, those who have made it, you know, and then they move out of the community, never to look back. And of course, it doesn't encompass everybody. But the they I'm speaking of specifically is some of us who are members of the clergy, some who are politicians, those in professional arenas who have, quote unquote, made it out. And then they look askance at our young brothers and sisters that are still trapped in situations. That's the day I'm referring to.
Yes, sir. Okay. To answer that, I think it's multiple faceted, if you will. It's more than one reason for that.
Uh-huh.
But namely, the first reason is the behavior of the people. Those people that we speak of, those brothers and sisters in the clergy and things of that nature, they've moved on and went into a professional world.
Uh-huh.
So the behavior that's normally exhibited from these younger brothers and sisters in the community doesn't directly correlate with their lifestyle.
Uh-huh.
That would be part of it if I had to guess.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise be that. Look, brother, look, we're on the same page because, you know, before I came to consciousness, and I got to be frank and honest, and I'm telling you, brother, you can speak candidly and forthrightly on this podcast. You can keep it 100, as we say in the street. But, brother, even before I came to consciousness, Brother Maine, see, and I'm from the hood, and I got my little job at Nike, man, and moved out of the hood, you know, and I just didn't see the need to go back. You know what I'm saying? I didn't necessarily think I was better, but it's kind of like when you get out of there, you know, you don't want those memories no more. But one day something hit me, man, and I found myself back in Chazita Gardens. It's called the Hillview now, just reminiscing from where I came from. And then when I heard the minister, I understood why I felt that way. But my next question for you, brother, is how can we address some of the root causes or reasons that our young brothers and sisters decide to get involved in criminal activity and nowadays at such young ages? I know there's some social factors and economic factors, but from where you sit, brother, talking to them on a regular basis, and I've talked to them on a regular basis, working in high schools among our children, what are how can we address some of those root causes of why they get involved?
I think just looking at it from I guess a medical standpoint, that from my level, my little knowledge, mostly we have to first identify what the problem is to understand what the cure should be for it. I think it begins there, and times have changed, things have changed. The reason for the behavior in the community has changed. There was a time when poverty, even though poverty still plays a major role, but there was a time when poverty was the only reason for the most part. Now it's become a sport. It's almost as if the things that people do it's a way of life, so to be. They don't even do it anymore for financial gain anymore. Right. It's just something to do. It's a response now. So I think we got to start attacking that. We got to start developing other things for the younger brothers and sisters to be doing. I think it begins with that. We have to give them something to do. You know, most of these towns you go to and you talk to the youth, which is key, communication with them.
Right.
One of the first things you always hear is there's nothing to do here. I don't care what town in America you go to. The response is unilateral. There's nothing to do here.
Ooh, yes, sir. That's it. I know that was the right question because I really expected that answer, brother, because that's the answer that I get. Ain't nothing to do. And if you leave most of our young people to their own devices, what they decide to do is not going to be something that most of us would agree with or even be constructive, you know, because there's some resentment, as I see it, brother, coming from our young people that we tend to kind of neglect or forget about them. And then some of the circumstances of their lives, as I've experienced it, it's something talking to a young girl. I remember talking to a student in high school, brother, one of the high schools in my city. It was my alma mater, really, where I graduated from. And to hear a young girl, why the reason she was having issues at school and couldn't get along with her peers, in a lot of instances seems to be always mad. It was because her mother had forsaken her for a move-in, live-in boyfriend, and the boyfriend hitting on her, you know, and she trying to escape. This girl actually would sleep. She cleared out their storage building and made it a bedroom to get away from this cat. So, I mean, I can't even imagine having to deal with something like that. But that's just some of what I've experienced in dealing with our young people. Now, what are some of the, you said you talked to them about communication. And that's very key, and that's very important, brother. So I'm going to let that pass. Okay. What are some of the main issues, concerns, or even complaints that you hear? But this audience is going to be patient, brother, man. See, keep doing what you're doing, brother. You got a little background noise there. That's all right.
Yeah, it's this loud truck. Can you ask that question again, brother?
Yes, sir. I got you. What are some of the main issues, concerns, or even complaints that you hear coming from our youth about their elders in the community?
Brother, being honest, when I hear the complaint from some of the younger people I talk to, it's not even a complaint, really. It's more or less their understanding.
Okay.
That term bridging the gap, it has more significance to it than we may ever understand. Because the first thing I hear is, man, ain't he old? Ain't she old? No, literally.
Yeah. They see the gray hair. It's over with, man.
Literally, ain't he old? What are you talking about?
They call you old school. They call you old school.
Man. Right, which isn't a legitimate complaint.
Right.
That's something you concocted on your own that has nothing to do with the issue.
Right.
So and that's the thing that normally comes up. Ain't he old? Or even me, you know, and I like to think that I'm still connected in the street.
Right.
But I find some of the brothers around me sometimes saying that, you know, the old stuff, you know, it's in a joking manner. But I realize, you know, Father Time is getting me to that point because now some of that got validity to it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But I think the other thing is this. A lot of times we try to take the approach of dealing with things from what we remember, or seeing it from our view, and we never really try to approach the situation from another brother's view. The younger brother, he's more in tune with the people. Like even myself, I'm not as connected with someone that's say 19, 20, because they're in the streets all day and night. I'm at work. You know what I'm saying? I'm not there right now. I'm at work and I'm way in Washington, but they're outside in them streets right now. So the ideal that I have in my mind about the streets and their ideal is two different things.
Right.
So we gotta start communicating with them more, and we gotta find a way to make it educational things fun for them for some reason or another. This generation now is more into enjoying themselves. Right. We have to make educating them not be boring to them.
Right.
We have to figure that out.
Yes, sir. And you know, brother, I'm glad you said that because and I have to share our experiences working at my old high school. And recently I had to do a presentation to some young brothers, maybe about couple of dozen young brothers at Booker T. Washington High School here in Memphis. And as I did the presentation, it was basically on Black history, but I presented it in a way that made it fun and that they participated. And I got to be honest with you, brother. They were engaged for an hour and a half. It wasn't a board, brother. Nobody had their desk on their heads on their desk. They were raising their hands, answering questions, responding to questions from me, responding to scenarios from me. So I know, brother, you are absolutely correct. If we make it educating them fun, and one of the best tools that we've used, brother, is giving them the knowledge of self. Something as simple as explaining to them why you got nappy hair. And I remember, brother, explaining that to some of our young people, and they were just taken aback. Now, what? Damn, that's why my hair nappy? Wow, I never knew that, never thought about that. So the old traditional education, that's out the window because that's not going to hold their attention. So, brother, look, those you said it's not really concerns, it's more so they perceive us as being old or out of touch with them that makes them respond. That's what you're saying?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes,
good.
sir.
Praise be.
That's what I get.
So, brother, the bridging the gap, and that's another one that I want to ask, dealing with how do we reconnect with them? Education is one way. We have to educate them and make them aware that we're still in touch. But what do you see on the end of, they have their view. And I don't think it's so much as something that they got to do to connect with us, and I mean, if you see it a different way, brother, that's fine. But I think it's more so what we have to do as the elders to get their attention. It's kind of like being a fisherman, and you have to put the right bait on the hook to attract the fish. So what are some of the things beyond education you think, that the elders in the communities or those of us at the street level need to do, man, to get their attention?
I think we got to get them more involved in what we do from the top end, meaning the leadership of these various grassroots organizations. Lumumba himself does.
Right.
That's key. And the reason being is this: those younger brothers that are in leadership will be more inclined to appeal to their peers. That we love to say your peers, but your peers isn't always the person that's speaking.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Sometimes that person, you're so disconnected from that person that you would look at him and wouldn't even look at him as your peer, even though this is your brother. So we got to start putting those brothers that they're hanging with all the time in a position to be the leaders amongst them.
That's right.
That's very crucial.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's very crucial.
And I agree, brother. That's what we do in the Nation of Islam. As a matter of fact, as the student minister of our mosque here in Holly Springs, Mississippi, brother, we got some young brothers. We just, our brother who is the FOI coordinator, we just installed him. He's a younger brother. He's in his 20s. And he's heading up the training of the men. And I personally would be looking for a younger brother that's interested in the ministry of the Nation of Islam, as well as younger women that are interested in, because we have female soldiers too, brother. We have a sister that is the instructress or the captain, if you will, in our status now. She's the MGT coordinator, and we are looking for young women and young men. So that is absolutely essential, because if you don't have replacements, man, coming up, your organization will get old and gray, and it'll kind of just die on out. And I think that's one of the things, I'm glad to hear you say that, because that is absolutely essential to any organization for it to survive. There has to be new blood coming in. We have young sisters called the Vanguard. Not only do we have MGT for the older sisters, we have a group of young sisters called the Vanguard. Their age is, I think, 18 to 36 or 35. And we have young brothers who are called the Task Force. And we have a military structure among them. And I think that should be in all organizations, and maybe not tailored the way we have it tailored. But as you put it, Brother Maine, see, there has to be young brothers involved, brothers and sisters involved. Brother Maine C, man, look, we're going to take a break, man. At this hour, we're always at about 5 minutes until 8. We chop off at 8:30. I got about 4 more questions to toss at you at the second half of the program. So, brother, look, if you don't mind, we're going to do what we do here on this program, and we're going to take a quick break. We're going to make some commercial announcements, and we will be right back. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment.
12, chilling in the studio, taking over the world. Assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. I come in peace, I don't mean you no harm. I say assalamu alaikum, wa alaikum salam. I come in peace, I don't mean you know, I don't mean you know. See, I come in peace, ain't nobody I am hurting, except my enemies, but for my brothers I am working. Cause the powers that be wanna see, that's why they're lurking. We're both making our peace, but different food we are serving. See, mine is for the fork, adding substance to the fork, and yours is for the court, doing chores for the pork. We're both under pressure, getting burnt by this 33rd degree. So why on earth you wanna smoke me? It's your brother who's broke, it's your brother who's dying, it's your brother who you poke. Stick him up with the iron, he's the one who is arrested for the same dirty job. After you get a sentence in the prison, full stop. It's your brother who knows and overstands your grind. Your brother has the same pain.
Taste the difference. Taste Supreme. Enjoy our 100% natural Supreme spring water with natural calcium and magnesium, but zero fluoride and zero chloride. Our bottles are BPA free. Order yours today. Call us at 800-573-8033. That's 800-573-8033. Or visit us online at www.supremespringwater.com. Live supreme. Be supreme. Drink supreme. Supreme Spring Water. 801 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30314.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience the Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. theurbanindulgence.com.
What's your source for truth in news reports?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
No shoot. No shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your #1 free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Well, boys, we hit the jackpot this time.
MCE in the building. Y'all know what time it is. Yeah. Been in my house picking up some.
And we're back live at the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast. On the line, we have our brother Maine C of the Conservative Vice Lords and YAGA Youth Against Gang Activity. We're having a good conversation. We certainly thank and appreciate our brother for coming to be with us this evening, and we want to get him back in here on the line and finish our conversation and topic for tonight. Brother Maine C, man, we're at the second half of this, brother, and I certainly always like to show my appreciation, thanking you for your commentary. And I guess when they come on, we always want to show them love, man, and this is a great conversation we're having. Brother Maine C, at the top half of this program, man, I want to move into the next phase of what we're talking about, the role of the street organization and the upliftment of our people and humanity at the community level. Entitled this, Voices from the Delta. And I want to talk to more brothers like yourself. We need some Maine C's in every community we can find down here in the Delta. But brother,
yes, sir.
The counterintelligence program, and this is similar to a question I asked last week. COINTELPRO made some objectives with regard to keeping black folks in the condition that we're in. And one of the main things that they decided that they was going to do, one of their long range goals was to never allow any leader to gain respectability among the youth. You know, and to hear you say the complaint you hear from young people is, well, ain't he old? You know, I kind of interpret that to mean, and he don't know really what's going on with us. He old, you know, because when you're old, you get forgetful. But COINTELPRO, brother, one of the things they said they wanted to keep from happening was from any leader to get any respectability among the youth. How can we get the youth in the community to see that they need guidance? Because in my experience, brother, and others I talk with, you know, sometimes, like you said earlier, they doing it for sport. You know, it was a point that they was doing it out of, you know, for what their view was a necessity for food and clothing and shelter and just to, you know, run their households. So how do we, you know, get them to respect the fact, coming from older ones among us, that young brother, you need some guidance, my man. And, you know, and not just any of us, but those of us who speak and live the life that we talk about in terms of liberation and doing better for our community. How do we do that?
I think, no, I'm here. I was just pondering that question, because the answer I have, I don't know if I wanted to word it the way it formulated in my mind, but because I don't want to offend you. No, I don't want to offend the younger brother. Okay. But my response is kind of that when you're dealing with a child, let's just say a baby per se.
Right.
Sometimes when he's wet or need his pamper change or he's hungry, he'll cry.
Right.
And that alerts us. But sometimes he does none of it at all.
Right.
Meaning we have to check and make sure that those things, because we already know these issues are, persist. They're there already. We're aware of that. So even if the baby isn't crying, you know if it's time to feed them, you know if it's time for them to be changed by simply checking. So what I think the answer to that is we have to give it to them in a sense that we understand that they need it already.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I don't have to wait on the brother to come to me for help. I know where he's at. I've been there. I know they need help anyway.
Right.
There are times that I wish Maine C had a Maine C coming up, coming through the neighborhoods and becoming, joining the so-called street gang, because I haven't always been where I'm at today. You see what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
Had I had a Maine C, I'd be light years ahead of where I am right now. Had I had a Maine. So it's one of those, I'm going to give it to you anyway. It's one of I'm not going to wait on you to want this because I understand you need it. It's almost like the vitamin. It's crucial that you get this. So we, the leadership, the people, the elders, and the younger leadership, we just spoke about putting some of the younger brothers in a leadership position.
Right.
They all have to understand the calling. It starts there. It starts there.
Right, man. Thank you. Thank you for that answer, brother. And man, while I'm thinking about it, I forgot to send my shout outs. I always acknowledge people who support this podcast. Of course, we always send shouts out to our family down in the Delta of the Nation of Islam, in the Nation of Islam, all the way down in the Hattiesburg, Student Minister Kazim Muhammad and the believers there. And of course, we come on up to Jackson, Mississippi, Student Minister Abram Muhammad, in Greenville, Student Minister Larry Greenwood, Brother Student Minister Bassel, and there in Tupelo, Brother Student Minister Conway, and then, of course, myself up here. We're in Holly Springs, but we're also Want to give shouts out to the Black Liberation Movement. We're talking about the Mississippi on the Move family. BLM with our brother Lumumba down there in Coldwater where his operations are. Of course, the new Black Panther Party, Brother Doughboy, and our brothers and sisters down that way, Brother Lorenzo, and the Geronimo Pratt Gun Club, of course, the Conservative Vice Lord Nation, YAGA, the GDs, all of our family, man. This, in my estimation, brother, we need to begin to look beyond the boundaries that we see as boundaries or lines of division and do what we can for a critical mass of us to begin to come together, man, and begin to address these problems. Because as we see it, you know, white people are moving. Governor Tate Reeves, I pay attention to this man. This man, they plan, brother, and they leave black people out of the loop of their planning. In fact, here in Memphis, they're talking about plans rebuilding parts of the city, and there's parts of the black community that they're just leaving out of the loop. And there's a sister Atwater there in New Chicago. She's taking notice of that fact. So what I say to that, brother, we have to begin to take matters into our own hands. One of the things we're doing, we're trying to grow food. In fact, that's what we're doing. We just gave a farm report here earlier in our broadcast from brother William Muhammad down there in West Point. That's the soldier there, man. I appreciate what that brother does. Okay. Now that my shout outs are done, I didn't want to forget those. I want to ask this question, brother. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan said this. He said, today's youth is the greatest generation that we've ever produced. And, you know, and when I heard him say that, I kind of looked, you know, and I can see in the response of some of the people at the time that I was looking, they didn't quite agree with that. What do you mean they're the greatest generation that we've ever produced? Then the minister said they're fearless, you know, and they're made of the substance that our ancestors prayed for, to have the kind of warrior class of young people, of our people, that'll stand up and fight. That's the basic material in terms of character and psychological disposition they wanted them to have. They haven't been indoctrinated with what made our fathers feel that they needed to assimilate into the mainstream. How do you get the elders? What do you think the elders need to do to see that characteristic? Those who may not see it. I mean, what is it that they need to do? How can I say this? I got the question written down, but once I started asking it, it shifted in my mind, brother. But let me just ask it how I got it on the paper. So that's how I wrote it. How do we get our elders to see the value of that characteristic in our youth in the street and seek to make them a prominent part of our struggle?
I think one of the first things with that, my response would be, we have to get the elders to stop fearing what's before them, because I agree wholeheartedly with the minister in that assessment. And the reason is this. Just from the negative side, there are things that the youth do today that you and I wouldn't have dared done.
Come on now.
We wouldn't have dared done.
Wouldn't even.
You see what I'm saying? There's no way we would have. You see what I'm saying? So it's already there. What we got to do is channel that, find a way to channel that energy. But we ourselves, meaning myself and brothers and sisters alike, that's older than myself even.
Right.
We have to stop fearing that. We have to stop fearing that. And if we stop fearing that, I do believe we can control it to some degree. I do believe we can control it. There are still younger brothers and sisters that want to listen. They listen to somebody. It's just a lot of times it's the wrong somebody.
Right. Yes, sir.
So I think that'll actually begin with the generation before them, brothers, the elders, to take fear out of the equation when it comes to dealing with them. I hear that a lot as well when it comes to dealing with the hoodlums as they're referred to.
Yeah.
But you gotta deal with these hoodlums. It's one of them. If the car breaks down, you got two options: leave it there or fix it.
That's right. That's right.
If you fix it, it's going to continue to run.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's a greater responsibility, actually. Yes, and I don't think that has nothing to do with the youth at all. That responsibility lies chiefly within the elder community.
You're exactly right, brother. That's why I asked it the way I asked it, because I strongly feel, brother, that that's on us. Because, you know, and I base that upon us saying, I hear some of us say, these children out here lost. Well, who lost them? We had them. You know, they didn't lose themselves. You know, They didn't ask for the situation that they were brought into. Remind me of a lyric that Tupac used to say when he said, "I was given this world, I didn't make it." So they were brought into these circumstances. So if they lost, we lost them. So it's our responsibility. It's our responsibility to find them and bring them in the fold and make them feel part. And you are absolutely right, brother. I think the biggest obstacles, in fact, the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, the greatest enemy of the black man is fear. This fear thing, man, because the slave master made sure they put fear in us. As a matter of fact, brother, there's a social undertaking that whites have practiced for generations since we've been slaves. They would always, brother, just on principle, to keep the element of fear among our people, they would just occasionally just lynch a brother and sister. You'll just find us hanging. And in my humble view, brother, I believe that's what's happening in Mississippi. We keep seeing and finding people hanging from trees. Then they want to rule it a suicide. I'm like, I don't buy that. I've been doing that. I know a suicide when I see one. You know what I'm saying? But absolutely. So, I think they still do that to instill fear. Absolutely. And they work in concert. And this kind of dovetails into my next question, brother. A brother asked me, he asked me this question once, brother. It's a two-part question, brother asked me. His name is Shabaka Africa. Brother lives in West Memphis, Arkansas. He runs Africa Books over there. Good friend of mine, brother. Elder brother, but wise brother, man. Well-spoken and has a kind of insight that's rare when you talk to people of consciousness. But brother asked me this question. He said, brother, why did Dr. King have to come to Memphis to lose his life? He said, why didn't the men in Memphis stand up and deal with the issue that they were faced with? So I present that question he asked me to ask this question. Why is it that when injustices happen, particularly in the Delta, in small towns, the injustice dealing with Carol Dunham Bryant, they found the warrant, been since 1955, and Rasheem Carter. Why is it that when these kinds of things happen in lesser known black communities throughout the country, we have to bring high profile figures in to address the injustice, as opposed to the men that are germane to the area, men and women of that community standing up? When will we develop, in words, homegrown men and women like Maine Seas, if you will, are strong enough to address these injustices?
Brother, I really believe that answer will be the same as the answer for the last question you just asked, brother. You were highlighted about the lynching, the hanging, the fear situation, and you spoke of the tree. Well, in the modern world, the tree is a courtroom.
Right.
The tree is a job opportunity. Mm-hmm. The tree is so many other mechanisms in play in the community that people fear either having or not having, whatever the reason. Mm-hmm. That's being used against our people to silence them in a lot of scenarios. There are situations where let's touch bases with the situation now. Right there in Indianola with the cop shooting an 11-year-old kid. Let me just show you, for instance.
Yes, sir.
There is no beating heart or conscious mind nowhere on earth that you think that was okay.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
All right. When you go to this small community that's supposed to be together, and you got this sister Michaela moving around trying to seek justice on behalf of her son, you would think that the outpour from the community and the support would be just massive. You would think this would be. I mean, they would come in droves to support that.
Overwhelming.
Yeah, every time I see that, sister, that's not the case. The city itself is not embracing that. They'll get on social media, she make a post, they'll comment, they'll do all of that. But they're coming outside to stand beside the sister while she's speaking and pleading her case about that, it's not there. There's a reason for that. A lot of people will use the I had to work excuse, but we live in the Delta, the poorest region in America.
Yeah.
Everybody don't even have a job.
Come on.
You see what I'm saying? You can't use that excuse. Everybody don't even have a job.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I got you.
Those people should be out there. Point blank here. There's nowhere around. And if you say, well, I didn't have a way, I'm sure there's enough of us that'll pool our resources together to get you there to be with her. Man. I'm sure that I'm one of them that don't mind helping with that situation. Man. It's just these people fear being retaliated against in one way or another. They fear it. Yes, so it keeps them from lending that support to this situation.
Right.
Once again, I think fear plays a factor in that.
Man, you're absolutely right, brother. And that's something, Brother Maine, see, man, we have got to overcome that. And I think as brothers like you, I'm willing to be part of that solution to addressing that problem. And I think, brother, we have to find Maine C's, as many as we can find, as many Maine C's, Abdul Shaheeds and Sister Monique's and Sister Shahida, my wife will fight now, and Sister Tammy's and Brother Najee's and all of the brothers and Brother Lumumba's. We need to find as many of them as we can and create a network of brothers and sisters, man, because we can't continue to, as the proverbial kick the can down the road to the next generation of young people still dealing with these issues. Because, man, I was going to say something that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, but I don't think I should say it in this context. But I suffice it to say, brother, it's reaching a tipping point. Because in Memphis, these young cats, they're not going, man. They're just not. And I would venture to say down in any small community, don't matter how big or small the city is, these young people, man, they're just not going to deal with you mistreating them. You know, they'll die first. They're not going to punk out and just let you treat them any kind of way. So I just think it's time for us to begin to make some steps in that regard. And this is a large part of the reason, brother, that I wanted to do this series of Voices from the Delta, talking to brothers and sisters that we normally don't or wouldn't even hear from, that's doing work and putting in work in the community that's benefiting our folk. Last question I got for you, brother, and I really appreciate you coming on, Brother Maine C. And I think this fear is another one where this is concerned. I don't know, but there may be some more elements to this question I'm about to ask. As in my mind, it is. Why is it that little to no attention is given to brothers like you that are in the community with the people, showing love, support, giving money, food, and even protection when our people suffer the kinds of injustice that the mother of the 11-year-old faced? Why do you think, you know, we just kind of shun the Maine C's and the Lumumbas of the world and the Shaheeds and the Farrakhans, and not putting us on the level of the Farrakhans, but we are miniature representations of that in our own right in our neighborhoods. Why do you think people just kind of shun brothers like that?
Yeah, fear do play a part in that, but I think it's a different kind of fear than what the previous. I think it's the fear for the people in the community that actually see this and should be joining and being a part of it. I think it's the fear of the commitment. It's the seeing what those brothers like the Lumumbas, yourself, myself, and various other brothers. There's so many we can name. We're in the loop, so we understand who these brothers and sisters are, because it's not just brothers. You have real great sisters on the Mooster King as well. Yes, the responsibility of Sunday doing exactly what we do. Don't nobody want to do what we do. This a lonely path we travel.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
It's a lonely path we travel. Mm-hmm. A lot of people, they don't want that responsibility. They don't want that accountability. Mm-hmm. That's from the people that's actually physically there with us that can see this.
Right.
On the flip side, the machine, there's a power we call the machine. That machine has always been so that people like us will never ride in prominence. It's rare that people do. You got to remember, the brothers before us, they was either incarcerated for astronomical amount of time or removed from earth, unalived, if you will. Uh-huh. There's a reason for that. Even in looking at the movie, The Black Messiah.
Yes, sir.
Don't know. These people fear someone that can take. Because mind you, we've already acknowledged that the younger generation, they're not scared. They're willing to die.
Uh-huh.
Imagine if we're able to channel that into something positive, productive, and constructive going forward. That is a problem for mainstream America right there.
Yes, sir.
Even though it's a good problem, but it is a problem within itself. And the reason being is this. Mm-hmm. Since America's been around and been formulated to be a country, there has never been There has never been that type of power in America to where black people was on a united front with people that wasn't afraid to lose their life. With the amount of numbers that we have today. Right. You see what I'm saying? There were always been revolutionaries. Since they first brought brothers over here, brothers that was already here, because there was black people here before they ever brought slaves.
That's right.
So the revolutionary spirit is something that God naturally put in. God blessed us with that.
Right.
So that was already there. So we've always had it, but we've never had where it's everywhere. I remember, you remember men and women used to have to assimilate to be that.
Right.
Now you can just go up the street and find somebody that's on that level. Yeah. I'm somebody ready to go right now.
Yeah.
No, we can't. They cannot afford us. They cannot afford us putting that together on the united front. They can't afford that. So behind the scenes, the jealousy game plays a part. You know, there are things, there are mechanisms that are used that we never look at. The job title to making this black man the foreman and making sure this black man is never foreman on the job. These, you know, the trigonometry, it works.
Oh yeah, they do that now.
It works.
It's strict.
Yeah, it
strategic
works. So,
with it.
Yeah. That would be one of the things I would look at with that. Like we as a nation, meaning America itself, not just black people, we as a nation really can't even afford that to happen, man.
Yes,
At least in their eyes.
Yes,
they can't afford that to happen.
Yes,
so
sir.
they play these games and keep us at odds with each other. It becomes a competition. It becomes a competition. Now we're trying to see who can pass out the most bottled waters when Jackson, Mississippi needs bottled water.
Come on now.
Instead of putting all the water together and just taking it off.
Yeah, centralizing the water, you know,
a
centralized location and everybody bring it there, you know, a consensus location. Like we should have consensus candidates that run for office instead of 10 black people. You got a predominantly black town. You got 10 black folk running for mayor and splitting the vote 10 different ways. And you got 2 white guys run for mayor and one of them win.
And one of them win.
And one of them win. Brother Maine C, look, man, brother, I thank you for coming on, and I'm sure that, like me, the audience is taken aback at the intellect and the articulation of the problems, and the answers you gave, brother, were insightful and right on point with regard to what's happening in our communities. And I'm sure the people are pretty shocked that this coming from from a conservative vice lord who has been dubbed by many in mainstream a pariah to the community. No, sir. And that's why I wanted to bring you on, brother, because as I watched you from afar, I said, can't no man with lack of intelligence do what that brother is doing. And I want you to know, Brother Maine C, man, that this platform is available to you and to YAGA and to the young people of YAGA, because in my estimation, brother, while I breath in my body and I'm responsible for what's happening at our mosque down there in Holly Springs, I'm going to be reaching out to the family down in the Delta and always showing myself as a brother and a comrade at arms. So family, let's give our brother a round of applause, thanking him for taking time out while he's working. My man is on the road. I saw you on the road, brother. You was inhaling the good air, and I said, brother, be careful. I'll chop it up with you later. So I want to leave you with this and our audience with this before we allow you, brother, to give any parting comments that you want to give before you get off. But the Honorable Louis Farrakhan said this to us as it relates to this struggle that we are in. He said, no one can attempt to help our people to do anything productive and constructive without feeling personal hurt, pain, loss, being evil spoken of, falsely accused, sometimes beaten, sent to prison, or even put to death. This is the path of Jesus. This is the path of Muhammad. This is the path of every sincere person who wants to see his or her people delivered from our present condition. End quote. I always keep that in mind, brother, when I'm working, so I do no favor seeking gain. So, Brother Maine C, any parting words you want to give us, man, before you get on doing what you do, man, and staying safe on that road, please?
Yes, sir. First and foremost, brother, I'd like to thank yourself for the opportunity. It means a lot that I'm able to come here and express our thoughts. So that, you know, forever gratitude for that. And the people that got on to listen, knowing that I would be on here to see what I have to say, I appreciate them as well, because now without them, there will be no Maine at all. And in part, what you just said, brother, that the minister said, I agree And we just got to get back to the basics and bring us outside. Long live the spirit of the Million Man March, not the Million Vice Lord, not the Million Christian, not the Million Muslim, the Million Men March.
Come on, man.
Let's just keep that power alive.
Yes, sir, brother, man. The same spirit is here, man. Thank you so much. Shout out to our dear sister Monique. She's on point. I see you on there, Sister Monique. Shout out to you, and tell all the young babies of YAGA, we want to have this platform for them as well. We want to hear from every spectrum, from across the board, the whole spectrum of our people engaged in the struggle, because I'm thinking about Maine, having a young person come in here in my studio and host this program one night and have a youth a youth broadcast, man, and see what's on the mind of the youth. So my brother, man.
Great idea.
Oh, yes, sir. Once again, brother, thank you so much. May God bless and protect you, brother, and I leave you as you came and we came with the greeting words of peace. Assalamu alaikum, soldier.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yes, sir. Come on, let's give it to him, y'all. Our brother Maine C. Conservative Vice Lords and YAGA. Thank them for coming on. Brothers and sisters, we are right at 26 minutes after the hour, and we are at that point where we are at our cultural segment. I always like to present something of culture, and for tonight's cultural segment, I thought I would dig into some of my music. I do write, arrange, and record music, and I have a song that I want to present to us tonight entitled My People. And I wrote this song as an anthem to black people. And I would appreciate if you would just listen to it and hope you enjoy it. And just groove to the sound. We'll be right back.
And God said to Moses, I will raise them up a prophet from among their brethren like unto thee. And I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him.
Every other house is abandoned on the street, with a homeless squat inside the filth, so in need. Brothers on the porch, hands in their pockets, looking up and down the street. They hustle to make ends meet. Hear the babies crying when they wake up, 'cause mama's gone again. And they don't say good morning, they watch you close as you pass them by. 'Cause where we live, it's hard to find a friend. But my people, we can make it. My people, you're not forsaken. Yes, my people, no matter how bad it looks. My people, yes, my people. Oh, the people on the hills are through. They all have given up on you. God, Christ, and His faithful one loves your soul. Putting that same love inside of me, that I'd be prepared to set you free. He is growing my faith, and my people, we can make it.
fisherman has planned to capture us in his net. He makes the game look quick and easy, but he knows far we won't get. A heavy price was paid to redeem me and you. Will you reject the gift that can comfort and relieve you?
The time is short, and the harvest is great. We gotta make a stand, or it's too late. If they only knew, they lift their heads and dry their eyes. We got to tell them a Savior has arrived.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
Taste the difference. Taste Supreme. Enjoy our 100% natural Supreme spring water with natural calcium and magnesium, but zero fluoride and zero chloride. Our bottles are BPA free. Order yours today. Call us at 800-573-8033. That's 800-573-8033. Or visit us online at www.supremespringwater.com. Live supreme. Be supreme. Drink supreme. Supreme Spring Water. 801 Joseph E. Boone Boulevard, Northwest, Atlanta, Georgia, 30314.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience the Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. theurbanindulgence.com.
What's your source for truth in news reports?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
No shoot. No shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your #1 free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
And we're back live at the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast. We want to thank you for tuning in for tonight's broadcast. We want to remind you, please subscribe to the Final Call newspaper. If you want it to be delivered to your home, we're looking for about 1,000 of you in Holly Springs, Marshall County area to subscribe to the Final Call newspaper. For local delivery, give us a call at 662-252-8999, or you can send us an email at dremuhammad1, or you can drop us a line at 517 or P.O. Box 517, Holly Springs, Mississippi 38635. Please join us tomorrow night at 165 North Memphis Street for our Friday night study class. We'll begin at 7:30. Brothers and sisters are invited. Come and learn the meat of what we are taught in the Nation of Islam in our subject or our class material entitled Self-Improvement, the basis for community development. Brothers and sisters, we certainly thank you for tuning in. And once again, we want to leave you as we came before you with the greeting words of peace, as we say it in the Arabic language of Assalamu alaikum.
10,000 fearless on the move. Let's go. Deep in the delta where the willows grow, in the soil stained by the blood of my ancestors. Punch bowl voices call out to my soul for justice. The wicked will reap what they've sown. Spirit of Aziz is back on the rise. Soldiers in the delta kept it alive. Time to stand up, take our place in the sun. Understand the time and what must be done. 10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. This is it. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi, sip. Gotta make a move and take control. Have something we can call our own. So shine your light, help the people see that now is the time for us to be free. And if you waiting on the pie in the sky, you better wake up fast. They told you a lie, cause big fields await the wide awake man. Elijah's got the master. 10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip. Injustice, we've had enough. All of our divisions we're breaking up. Destiny has been calling us. The spirit of the Most High is guiding us. See, the time is now. What you waiting on? Quit shooting your brothers. Put your gun down. Come on. They got a cage waiting for you if you keep that up. Early graves coming to you. From that, can't raise you up. Now, Sister Ida B and Fannie Lou, check them out and you'll know what to do. But if you really want your enemy to be alarmed, read the Final Call. Follow Farrakhan. 10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip. 10K fearless. 10K fearless on the move. 10K fearless on the move. In Mississippi, Mississippi. 10,000 fearless on the move.